I'm so mad about this, I think I'm going to vote next time. Oh, really? Wow. I mean, there's this sense that their vote doesn't matter. It, of course, does, but every time, a lot of people are convinced that their government's too influenced by special interests. I agree with them, right? It is too much. And every time there's one of these scandals or the Supreme Court lets corporations spend as much as they want, it just adds to this feeling that I can't do anything. It's beyond, big, powerful interests are controlling it, and what I do doesn't matter.
Well, what we hear is throw them all out.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we need. You know, some sort of lottery system to get Joe the plumber in there. You know, there's all these sort of like, get rid of all of them, or they're all the same. You know, both parties are the same. I mean, there's these real, and every time I hear those things, I think this is somebody that's probably not involved in a party or in certain candidates, don't pick up their phones, and just have this large level of disgust, which goes back to my original question, which is why people don't vote, is because of that sort of just dirty feeling. Because when you're running a campaign, and you guys all know this, you don't have to tell the truth.
I thought you did. I'm sorry. Maybe that's
well,
why
you got
lost the last couple.
You
but
all do. But there are campaigns that come out at the last minute. People don't know if they can believe it, and the more literature they get in the mail, the more they see on television. I mean,
but I think Eric hit it on the head. You know, people feel like there are these incredibly powerful special interests, and as they feel like they don't have a voice, and so. From my perspective, we need elected officials who represent people, who represent the interests of just working families. Because there are a lot of people who feel like their elected officials are representing special interests, big companies. And when they see these things like these
some of them are.
decisions.
And some of them are right.
It's
Lisa Murkowski. Some of them are absolutely right. That those people are working for big interest. And not for the people, because you can look at what they say, you can look at their press releases, you can look at their voting record, and you'd really have to shake your head, especially in Alaska, to say, how is this serving the people of Alaska? And I think that it's caught up. I think it's caught up, but instead of engaging, people have pulled out. Do you think that's a fair assessment, Eric?
Right, and it's what, it makes these guys remarkable, and the districts that we were able to represent. In mine, you could knock on all the doors, right? And these guys did. And when at that level, you can really stay rooted in it. You can do it for relatively cheap, and so you don't have to raise as much money from those same special interests. And you can be there actually hearing about it. There was a groundedness to it. I would sometimes walk on not the whole district, but a couple of precincts in the off time, just to see what in the odd numbers years, just to see what people were thinking.
What was important to them. We got to run to a break. I want to come back and talk about some of the things that are going on with Anchorage right now specifically, and also ask you, how difficult is it for you to go and say, I need this for my district, when we have a mayor who's writing himself checks? Is that too awkward of a question?
We'll find out.
We'll find out after this break. All right, welcome back. Wow, welcome back.
You do a TV show in a bar.
Hey,
how cool is that?
It's very cool. There's a drinking game at home.
Yeah.
Every time I say more up north, you have to drink. I'm kidding. There's not really. Anyway. I'm so glad to be back with our panel. This is my dream team. Eric Croft is here, Harriett Drummond, and Bill Wielechowski. And I don't know that they're all comfortable with being on my dream team, but that's okay. I'll see what I can do. So before we're going to the break, I just mentioned this week, Mayor Sullivan, you were the dissenting vote on the 16th of February. There's this really hinky deal, like the city became an insurance company, basically was taking money from the family and premiums, and then decided when the first mayor had died, Mayor Sullivan had died, George Sullivan, that they would pay the family out $193,000. You voted against it. Can you kind of give us in a nutshell just how weird this is, this story? Because as far as I know, no one else has this deal?
No. Well, the administration has not answered that question yet. They haven't told me that there is no such other surprise hiding in the city's files. But on February 2nd, this item showed up on the agenda for that meeting for a public hearing on February 16th, since we were paying out money and the public needs to be able to comment on it. February 16th came and went, or came, and nobody from the public came out to testify. Where were you guys?
Oh yeah, because it was on the news all that time before to tell people about it. I don't think people knew.
No, it was very quiet. It was very quiet, and I asked a couple of questions, didn't get much in the way of answers. I talked to my insurance agent, who was horrified that the city was behaving as an insurance company. She said that's illegal for the city to be accepting premiums from anybody and pretending that there was a life insurance policy in place. And all of you taxpayers paid $193,000 to the estate of George Sullivan. They wouldn't even tell me who the trustee was. That was one of my questions. And it turns out it's Dan Sullivan himself.
Well, and then he was asked by the paper, who are the beneficiaries? How, like who gets the benefits? And, what would seem to be an obvious answer would be, oh, my siblings and I, or the family. He said, I don't have to tell you. Well, that's just hanky. That's an odd answer.
Because it's private.
Because it's private, but it seems like a pretty look, and as it is now, the average household, in Anchorage pays $2,500 a year in property taxes, which
more than that. The average house is valued at a little over $300,000, and the property taxes on that are about $4,500, I think.
Okay. Well, as we had figured it out, it's like, you're looking at several blocks worth of houses here. So pick whatever 2 or 3 blocks that you want to start counting and say, okay, you just paid money to a trust that you don't get to know who benefits. That's weird. And the fact that it's the mayor and we're not an insurance company is strange. It's just all very convoluted, and there have been different stories told to the same reporter by the same mayor. And that's even weirder to me. And so this isn't helping people want to get engaged in the process. $193,000 going to a mayor who just cut $150,000 in services that the fire department, is providing to people who fall at flat top or fall through the ice, as what happened today. Something that they're out there trying to find somebody in the ice. I mean, these are essential services, and when time is everything, we can't afford to give up $150,000, much less $193,000. So, Eric, does this just seem weird? You've been in Anchorage a long time. You were here when Mayor Sullivan was here.
Right. It was strange in a lot of different respects. I'm still stuck on the excuse of I'm not going to tell you if I got this money or not. Essentially, that's what, translating through the legalese, right? It's, did this money go to you and others, you alone, or not you, was what the question was asking. And Dan wouldn't answer because it's private. All of us have to disclose private information all the time. We have to do, that's part of being in public life, is to fill out a lot of paperwork saying who my wife's clients are, or who, just stuff that you wouldn't ordinarily have to. If his point is, I don't have to say that normally, it's probably right. But this isn't a normal situation. You're the mayor, and we want to know whether your administration just wrote you a check.
Well, we know they did.
Well, they wrote someone a check, and a big one. And you're right, I wanted to analyze it from the other end. You can analyze it from the how many houses does it take to make that pot of money, or how many firemen does it open a fire station? Does it?
Well, we know it's $43,000 more than people that would respond to hazmat, swift water, mountain rescue, this sort of thing. It's like, Anchorage, the big wild life. Now, could you just sit in your hotel room? Because if your butt's hanging out on flat top and you need help, it's a long way away. You dial 911 now. Hi. You'll have to call the troopers. Try the National Guard. I hear they're recruiting. Oh, wait, you need help. I mean, what are they going to do? Right. I mean, this is something that we need, and this is essential services. And people here like to enjoy the outdoors. I don't know why, but they do. And so you want them to go out and do it.